Wando back with another video. Hey man, today we got some old Larry the Lobster. Y'all already know how I get, man. But today we got NBA Legends playing how crazy Larry Bird was. How great he was for real. Not gonna lie, Larry Bird is one of the greatest to ever do it, and just gonna leave it at that. But before we get into the video, make sure y'all subscribe to me if you're new. Comment what y'all want to see next, and like the video. Let's get straight to it.
Who gave us an 80s to remember by lighting up a battle between the Celtics and the Lakers will forever be heralded as one of the players who saved basketball. Bird and Magic's coast-to-coast war and jaw-dropping styles gave the NBA the boost it needed before the emergence of Michael Jordan.
Now I'm not gonna lie, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson was definitely like the top two keys to open up like the NBA for sure. I don't really think nobody else besides Jordan, obviously, but before Jordan it was Larry Bird and Magic that sparked the NBA for sure.
But for Bird, with 3 titles, 2 finals MVPs, and 3 consecutive MVP seasons, some forget just how good he really was. Today we look at NBA players explaining how crazy good Larry Bird was in his prime. Before we get into all that, if you want to win a PS5 with NBA 2K22 and Madden NFL 22 included, leave a like. NBA's greatest of all time, there's always 5 or 10 guys that hit the list. Each carries a different generation. From 50s Bill Russell to 60s Wilt Chamberlain or 70s Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 80s Magic Johnson, 90s Michael Jordan, 2000s Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant, to today's LeBron James. Some get overlooked when they shouldn't, for example, Tim Duncan. And others get left behind because of the lack of titles, like Charles Barkley.
Damn. Charles Barkley really don't have one, bro. That's crazy.
What happens when all these players talk of another great as if he was like no other? Larry Bird was lauded by most of these legends, because he was one of them too. He was consistent, tough, offensively masterful, and one of the first big guys to shoot many three-point shots. LeBron James spoke candidly in an interview about how he was one of the few guys ever to win a three-point contest with a warm-up shirt on. LeBron referring to the time Larry won his 3rd consecutive three-point contest.
I'm not gonna lie. Hold on. Winning a three-point contest with your little warm-up jacket on you, that was disrespectful. You already knew you had it in the bag, and he was like, come on, let's just go on and get this on out the way. And then a finger. Before the shot even went in, he said, I said, what is little, you know what I'm saying, like this. He said, I said, yeah, bro. Yeah, you got it. You got it.
James continued,
for young guys that don't know him, you know, they think of Larry Bird as a jump shooter. But he was so much more than that. He was a passer. He averaged double-digit rebounds. He defended, he took charges. And, you know, he's a straight-up complete basketball player, and me as a small forward.
Later in his...
You know, he wasn't lying, bro. Larry Bird is definitely like one of the best all-around players you can ever ask for. Like, he can literally do it all. Literally do it all.
Career, LeBron adapted his game to the new way of basketball, which was a charge led by the Golden State Warriors in shooting more from behind the arc. LeBron was considered a big guy, but began shooting more threes, and no doubt was heavily influenced by the fact that Larry Legend had already achieved this feat in the 80s. In another interview, when asked about his top 3 of all time, LeBron put Larry Bird firmly in there with MJ and Dr. J.
My God, 3, yeah, Larry Bird, Dr. J. Michael.
Shaq had a very different opinion on Larry initially. He said he disliked Bird because he was jealous. He thought, how could this regular-looking guy do everything?
Never really had a chance to play against Larry Bird, but I actually used to hate Larry Bird. I hated him.
Man, you hate Larry Bird? What'd he do to you? What Larry Bird do to you, Shaq? Larry, I ain't gonna just seeing Larry Bird. I think he's completely great at basketball. I don't have him over Jordan and nothing like that, but you know, he definitely is in my top 5. Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Shaq soon realized as he grew older and wiser that despite getting the luck of the Irish with the Celtics, Larry made his own luck when it came to shooting the ball. Shaq, at 7'1", of course, had a completely different style of game at the time. He was built to the max and used brute force to impose his will on the defense and rack up the points, blocks, and rebounds. Shaq was also faster than most give him credit for, particularly in the early part of his career.
O'Neal the rebound, now the Magic with a final shot chance. O'Neal runs the floor, takes it all the way!
Bird was notoriously slow, which was all the more testament to his skill set, but his basketball IQ was just on a different planet.
Even when he was slow, like, he would still be like killing people on the court. You know what I'm saying? Like, simple moves that he do, which would be like super slow, would be super effective in game. Guarantee it's gonna make or break the game.
He once sank a shot from behind the backboard, which O'Neal chalked down to a fluke following a bet with his friend.
Sam Vincent to Bird,
Oh my. Oh my.
Shaq never really got the chance to play against Larry Bird, which is unfortunate, because I don't think it would have taken him so long to recognize greatness. On the other hand,
Shoot for both ends too. If Larry Bird seen Shaq, he wouldn't want no part. Shaq way too big for Larry Bird. Way too big.
Time NBA champion Kareem Abdul-Jabbar battled Bird on numerous occasions while playing with the Showtime Lakers. Bird got the better of him in the 1984 finals, and took another two in a decade that was largely dominated by the purple and gold. Kareem spoke about how Larry...
Ooh. Hey, that battle was crazy right there. That battle is, hold on. The way he looked at him was like, bro, try something if you want to.
Took another two in a decade that was largely dominated by the purple and gold. Kareem spoke about how Larry might have been the best he had played against and said,
how good was Bird? People, I don't think people look at him and think, oh, he's a white guy, slow guy.
The chubby white guy, he wore us out, man. You know, because he just, this muscle here, the one between his ears,
yeah,
that was his best, you know, because he made the three-pointers and he had assists and rebounded, steals. He was always at the right place at the right time on the court. You know, one of the great players, you know, I had the opportunity to play against.
Y'all heard it from Kareem, bro. Like, it don't get no better than hearing it from one of the GOATs himself, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like he said, Larry Bird IQ is at 1,000,000. You can't tell me that Larry Bird did something bad. You couldn't tell me that. For real.
11-time All-Star Charles Barkley, a regular season MVP during a star-filled 90s, was once asked, "Are you better than Bird?" And he took a long pause before answering, which is very telling.
Am I better than Bird? Oh man, that's a...
No, I can answer that for you, Charles. You're not. You're good too. Don't get me wrong. You had the muscle and the hustle. You know what I'm saying? But like, for a long pause like that, bro, you're not on Larry Bird level. We all can honestly say that, bro. Yeah, bro, it's bad for you.
Great question.
Most great players respond immediately with how they think they're the best because you have to have that kind of mentality in order to get to the top. Instead, Barkley answered,
I'm a better rebounder. I'm probably a better defender. He's a better shooter, obviously.
Okay. I can give Charles Barkley those two. He's definitely a better defender than Larry Bird. Y'all Larry Bird fans, y'all gonna disagree, but he's definitely a better defender. I don't know if that's due to Larry Bird injury, but I'll say he's definitely a better rebounder. Definitely a better rebounder. Let's see what else you got to say.
You know, a lot of people talk about who's better.
But you have to think, you have to have that mentality.
No, you know. I think, you know, it's a team game.
I think deep down he knew that Bird was a better player, and for someone as good as Chuck to be stumped like that in an interview shows you how heavy the weight of Larry Bird's legacy was.
Yeah. But him to even be stuck like that, bro, I don't know. I'll answer the question for y'all, bro. No, Charles Barkley is not better than Larry Bird, probably not even close. But, of course, he has some attributes that's very much more better than Larry Bird, which I give him the defense and rebounding. Sure.
Former teammate Kevin McHale also references how unreal he was. McHale was Bird's right-hand man while playing with Boston, claiming the Sixth Man of the Year award twice, along with 7 All-Star appearances. His story of a specific Detroit game is fascinating. There was a bit of time left on the clock, and we had beaten Detroit, and I just scored 56, and I'm walking off the...
Kevin? Scoring 56? Gang, I ain't never heard Kevin scoring that much. I ain't gonna lie.
Court, and Larry said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm done." I said, "I'm exhausted. I'm tired." Larry goes, "Don't do it, man. Because when I get that hot, I'm not coming out of the game." A week later, he got that hot. He looked at me at about 50 points, and he looked at me and said, "I told you." The pair would go on to win 3 titles together. And McHale would continue to tell stories that live on in Celtics folklore forevermore. A highlight being a throwback from Bird's brutal trash talk at a game in Phoenix.
We have a play, out of bounds play. I'm taking it out, and Larry says, "I'm going to bust off the play, and I'm just going to come out, and I'm going to shoot a 3." And I'm like, "We're down 2." I'm like, "No, don't do that." I'm like, "Let's shoot a 2, please. Go to the hole, try to get fouled. Let's just get into overtime, see if we can't win this game." And Larry says, "No, I'm just going to bust a 3 on him." And I'm like, "Oh, my gosh." So he tells the Phoenix bench, tells the coaches, "Yeah, I'm just fixing to bust a 3 on you guys and just go home. I'm tired of this." And he gets the ball, jumps out, busts the play, comes out, gets the ball at the slot, shoots the ball. As the ball's in the air, he kind of turns towards the Phoenix bench and yells, "Told you so."
Ultimate disrespect, bro. Ultimate disrespect. But that, I ain't gonna lie, Larry Bird probably made the game fun for everybody back then, bro. Y'all gotta understand, like, trash talking to me personally is fun. So I would have been having fun right with him, bro. Teammate or not, bro.
Larry's mental game was such that he could just open up any team and tear them apart. He would use psychological warfare on a regular basis. Players speak of his toughness not because of his size or physicality, but because of his mind. He would impose his will on the opposition and could force them off their game just as much as he could switch on his.
First of all, terrible. No. That was not Larry Bird, what I just seen.
Mastermind at Trash Talk Tactics, Larry Bird will forever go down in history as one of the greatest trash talkers of all time. And in the 80s, that mattered. With players such as Bill Laimbeer, Hakeem Olajuwon, Magic Johnson, and the eventual emergence of Michael Jordan, Bird did what was necessary in order to gain that mental edge that took him over the top.
But honestly, bro, Larry Bird didn't even need the trash talk. Like, he was already good. I feel like he would have been great even without trash talk. It just added a little extra little spice to his game. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got a little something they can, you know, that's different from everybody. And that was just his one. The mental. You got to be mentally strong. Got to.
James Worthy, the 1988 Finals MVP, simply stated that Larry was trash talking all the time, but the problem was he could back it up.
Yeah, he could back it up. So when you're arrogant and you can back it up, you're not arrogant. You're just good. And Larry was good.
That's the difference. If you're gonna talk, at least score or do what you got to do. But a lot of times you see people trash talking and they just, like, now I see people trash talking on defense. But what are you doing on the other side of the court? What are you doing? They don't be doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to block. Okay, next possession. Then what? You know what I'm saying? Larry Bird to talk and still shoot in your face. That's crazy. He gonna tell you what he gonna do and then shoot it in your face. No, that's GOAT activity.
Even Worthy's former teammate Magic Johnson spoke on the fact that he had a real dislike for Larry Bird as far back as their college playing days for the very reason that Larry would constantly get the better of him. Johnson claimed in a recent interview during a press build-up for the Broadway play about the pair that after he beat Larry in the NCAA championship game in 1979, the most-watched college basketball game ever, by the time he got to the Lakers, they were 0-8 to the Celtics.
You had to hate the Celtics to beat them because when I got here, we were 0-4, I think 8, and then the first time against the Celtics and then in championship series, and then we lost that in '84. That made us 0-9, I believe.
And later is quoted as saying, "When I played, Larry Bird was the only one I feared." Not bad when hearing it from a 5-time champion and one of the true.
Is that true? Do y'all think Larry Bird feared Magic Johnson? This is my first time hearing that. Y'all gotta tell me something. I gotta actually somebody else recommended it via video I'm gonna watch. The battle between both of them, so I'm gonna get into that. But was that true? I don't know. I need Larry Bird to speak on that.
True great basketball players of all time. At the 2019 NBA Awards, Johnson received the NBA Lifetime Achievement Award, but it was shared with guess who? Larry Bird. Bird was simply the king of talking the talk, then actually going out and walking the walk.
Listen, man, retirement is great for you because you've never talked this long.
Dominique Wilkins recounts one of the most famous games where Larry Bird promised Kevin McHale he was going to break McHale's record against Atlanta. Wilkins said,
"He got so hot in that game that you talk about that patented step back. He was doing that step back and he switched it to his left hand 3 separate times in that game."
Oh my, you're lying. Switch it. So he right-handed and he gonna switch to his left hand and shoot it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, different.
He hit a 3. He was scoring anywhere on the floor that he wanted.
Is this when the bench was giving each other 5?
The bench was giving each other 5.
So did you get in a fight with them after the game? Forget Larry. Did you beat anybody on the bench? Because you giving 5, he's scoring on me.
Every one of those guys got fined $3,000.
Okay.
Larry's legend lives on because of the greats that want to tell them. The reason there's a list of top 10 players who consistently call Bird their toughest opponent or one of their all-time greats is because Larry himself is in that list. Larry is a top 10 baller of all time. His style doesn't matter when his skill sinks the opposition, because above all, the opposition will remember. They'll remember the steals, the shots, the clutch plays, and the trash talk. They'll remember the Bird from the early 80s, not from the early 90s. The Larry who stepped out on the court in his warm-up jacket and made Michael Jordan recoil in envy. MJ announced,
"He ain't took off his top yet. I didn't see when he took off his top."
Hey. And when he take off that when he take off that jacket, you know he's serious, bro. You know he's serious. But that's probably a warm up for him. Like Larry Bird, obviously he's a great shooter. That was probably just a nice little warm up. He ain't had no competition. Who was Larry Bird going against in that 3-point contest? Let me know, because like obviously it wasn't somebody on his level to where he had to play serious. Like,
well, when Bird did, it was all business. He may as well have taken a mop and bucket to the floor because he was about to clean up. He was an impetuous and never relenting opponent that took the life from anyone who stepped onto his battlefield. The consensus is a resounding stamp of legendary status for the man who will forever go down in the history books as one of the greatest ever players, and arguably the greatest ever Celtic to grace the court. What did you think of Larry Bird in his prime?
I think Larry Bird was definitely a top tier player that nobody can miss. Nobody can miss ever. But you know what I'm saying? If y'all enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. Comment what y'all want to see. Comment what y'all want to see next. And true, like I said, bro, Larry Bird is, y'all heard it from a lot of good stars. Y'all heard it from Magic. Y'all heard it from Jordan. Y'all heard it from Kareem. Like, it don't get no better than that, bro. Without further ado, on to the next video.